Hey everybody, thank you for joining us for today's episode of Real Estate Disruptors. Today we have Alex Saenz with Home Equity Pros.
Yep.
And he's here to show how he's earned already $1 million in wholesale fees by the age of 21. I'm a little bit jealous. So if this is your first time tuning in, I'm Steve Trang, broker owner of Stunning Homes Realty, co-founder of the OfferFast Wholesale app, the one app you need for wholesaling. And I help people become real estate entrepreneurs. If you're excited for today's show, give me some waves, give me some hearts. And before we get started, I did start the show because we want to give back to our community. I've struggled before. I know Alex has struggled before, and we want to shortcut that struggle for as many young leaders as possible. I don't charge a dime for this show. I don't make any money doing this, so here's all I ask. This is your only cost for listening to this show. If you get value, please tell a friend. Either share this episode right now, tag a friend below, or tell them your best takeaway from this show later on. That way, we can all grow together. Don't forget, this is a live show, and so please post your questions, and Alex would be happy to answer them for you. Ready to go?
Absolutely. Let me just finish sharing this and get it going. Boom.
Okay, so
Good to go.
we'll start with a softball. What got you into wholesaling?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on here. I watched the majority of these, and they're awesome. So, the value that you're providing out there for free, on your own time, is amazing. So, thank you for that.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yeah. So, what got me into real estate? I think the best answer is I would say would be God.
Yeah.
Because I never planned it. So, a little background. So, I grew up with my dad was a contractor.
Okay.
So since I can remember the age of 5, I would go on small projects that he was doing. And growing up, I wanted to be a construction manager. I want to go to college. I think they pay like $70 to $80K a year. So that was like my intentions, throughout high school.
Yeah.
And but I never thought about being an investor. So after graduated high school, I went through some hardships in life. Parents divorced. Lived in a trailer park. I just very humble upbringing. And what got me into real estate was my buddy Jalen White.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know him, right?
Oh, he's a little bit of a legend, so yeah.
Yeah, he's a legend. So one day, it's like 2 weeks before graduation, and he says, "Hey, Alex, can you go down with me to see a property that I just bought?"
Before you graduated high school?
Before I graduated high school.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
2 weeks before graduation, I learned about wholesaling, right? So he's like, hey, Alex, do you want to go down with me to see a property that I just bought? I'm like, you just bought a property? I have like negative 20 in my bank account. Like, he's 18 as well, so I was just, mind blown. And we go to this property, and I think the reason why he wanted me to go is because it was a very rough area.
A little sketchy?
It was, yeah, very sketchy. Boarded up, crackheads around the corner.
Right.
But, it turns out, like, he ended up, telling me about real estate, and he was still very new at it, but he gave me enough information to intrigue me.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 weeks after that, like a day before graduation, he shows me his bank account, and he closed a $13,000 deal. And that was all the proof that I needed to start real estate. So he introduced me to wholesaling mid-2015. And he closed his deal, left for vacation for like 3 months. So now I have he introduced me, but I was very eager to learn. So throughout those 3 months, just looked at every YouTube video that you can think of on real estate. Like, even the legends like Ron LeGrand.
Yeah.
Just old videos. Very bad quality videos, but very good content.
Right.
So started then, and it was by accident. It just happened. Didn't go to college. I was going to enlist in the Navy. Didn't do that. Kept, banging out real estate. And it took me 8 months to get my first deal.
Really?
And those 8 months, they were not pleasant. I'll tell you that.
You learned a lot of lessons. So that's the next question. What were some of your early struggles?
No guidance. Really, I grew up, I'm a very confident guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up, and it can get the best of me. I grew up thinking that I can do everything by myself.
Yeah.
And during those 8 months, I got the first deal by myself, help here and there. But for the most part, it was just, I'm going to do this by myself. I don't need anyone. Mm-hmm. So early on, if I would have, now I'm taking all the help I can get.
Yeah.
I learned from everybody. So early on, that was one of my biggest struggles, just, putting my ego down and really learning from people that were crushing it that I can, duplicate in my own life.
And before you came in, I was doing some research, so I came across your journey story on YouTube.
Yeah.
And there was a quote that jumped out on me, and I'm probably butchering it, but God doesn't put you through a road that you cannot come out of. Something along those lines. So you're dealing with something where you lost $5,000.
That deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, 8 long months of just constant struggle to get my first deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, during those 8 months, I gained 45 pounds. Like just depression, every bad emotion you can think of was going through my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very. I mean, it was not easy. But during that time, about December, which was 6 months after I, learned about the concept of wholesaling, I got a $5,000 deal under contract,
mm-hmm.
and got it under contract, and it was set to close January 2nd or the 3rd, if I remember correctly. And I quit my job Christmas Day. I had $1,500 to my name from my saved checks. I actually saved the checks. I didn't cash them because I knew I would waste them. So I was living off credit cards, but I wanted to stay cash heavy, which I still do. So I quit the job and I flew out to Dallas for New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
And out there, I mean, I'm very giving when it comes to family. So I was buying, small gifts here and there. I went to a Cavaliers game.
Yeah.
Sat like second row. I mean,
nice.
So I spent it thinking that when I came back,
you were cashing checks you didn't have yet.
That's right. So I was spending. That's one thing I learned now. Do not count your money too early.
Right.
Especially in real estate, because anything could just turn real quick.
Yeah.
So fast forward. After I came back from Dallas, I had $300 left, and on that Monday, I get a call from the seller saying, "Hey, my dad. The seller's son. Hey, my dad has cancer. We're not going to sign closing docs." And at this time, I didn't know about memorandum. And plus, it didn't come across my mind just because it was such a tragic situation in their family that I just moved on.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost that $5,000 deal. So now I have, rent coming on, living at a studio by myself, and I had to borrow money for rent. And, I mean, here we go again. No job, had to borrow, money, so I'm in debt even more. I have like $3,000 in credit card bills, and it just crushed me at that moment.
And then you said that you gained a lot of weight and all this other stuff that was going. Like, what was the lead up? Because right now, I know there are a lot of people that are wholesaling houses full time, watching YouTube videos, and they're dreaming the dream, and they think that it's just gonna. I'm just gonna go wholesale. I'm gonna make a crap load of money. And I'm sure you had that aspiration. I know I've had some crazy ideas. Yeah. So what were some of the struggles, and how can we help some of those people going through that struggle?
Well, before I go there, so let me just finish off this story because I think it's actually very interesting. So I went 10 days of like pure, like I'm telling you, every negative emotion that you can think of, right? So those 10 days, I want to quit. I'm quitting at life. Everything's, total victim mentality.
Mm-hmm.
10 days later, I drive for dollars. On the second house that I find, I look up the owner's name, county assessor. I look up his number on Intellius, which is a very low quality data company, and
they advertise the most.
Yeah, they have a good marketing budget, right?
Yeah.
Ended up contacting the seller, and just to fast forward that, I got 2 deals from that second house that I drove for dollars in, and to this day I have not got a deal that's exact same way. Yeah. So I know it was like, I call it God's wink when God just reassures something in your life. So I mean, I got the deal under contract, and 3 to 4 days later, the next day I found a buyer. I called all the individuals that had houses for rent in the area, and then he was a cash buyer. He closed in 3 days. So, I mean, from January 2nd to the 13th was just horrible. Just wanted to quit. I was looking for jobs, and then got a blessing the 13th, 14th. And then 3-4 days later, I got a check for $13,000, and that's my first deal story.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
What I want to add to that too, for the guys that didn't watch the story, was that you were just listening to a Christian station, and you were just wallowing in depression, and that was the message that came through.
I was broken. I was heartbroken. I was just done. I really had gave in, and my girlfriend. she invited me to go eat, 'cause she was still working, so she invited me to go eat. And I remember, so she invited me to go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
Like, I remember every detail. And we stopped by her grandma's, and she's like, hey, I'm going to get ready. Do you want to come in? I'm like, no, I'll stay here. So, I mean, I had gave in, but I'm still like, man, I was this close, like, just thinking. So, switching through stations, and there's Christian music. So, I've been a Christian my whole life. I've been, part of the church since I can remember. So, I've always had an immense amount of faith. And during that time, I felt this, I don't know, warm feeling. And I heard the radio host mention, God doesn't put you through a road that He knows that you won't overcome. Something along those lines.
Right.
And at that moment, like, that's when I just decided to drive for dollars.
Yeah.
So it was a moment in my life where I just felt extremely guided. And it's really hard to explain. If honestly, I think every one of us has those little moments, and I call them God's winks, when you just know, like, okay, this didn't happen for a reason, or it didn't happen for no reason. It happened for a specific purpose. And now looking back, it's like that was just a huge blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to some of the struggles that you did face that led up to that point, what were some of the struggles, and how did you overcome those struggles for the new guys that haven't done a deal yet?
So when I first started?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I would say I didn't have a mentor or guidance, and I didn't have money for a mentor. But there was, now, like, looking back, there's different ways I could have added value to someone's business in return for mentorship. So
yeah,
I think just following someone that you resonate with, and someone that you kind of vibe with, just finding someone that can guide you. I mean, listening to constant podcasts, this show. So
yeah,
early on, that's something, and then just staying in tune with the business and those in the business. So that's something that really helped looking back now.
Okay. And then, so I saw that you're also flipping Jordans. You were hustling. So before you were flipping houses, you were flipping Jordans. So let's talk about that. And you were always a hustler.
Yeah, I mean, I sold candy in school, and we would do, like, for football, we'd do, like, cookie dough fundraisers. I would be, like, the top guy because I'm just hustling. That money never came to me, but paid our uniforms, right?
Right.
For the Jordan story, so I got a pair of Jordans in 2008. I think I was like 12 at the time. And my mom gave me a pair for my birthday or Christmas, one of those. Can't remember off the top of my head. I ended up selling the pair like a month later, which is not something you do. I mean, if you get a gift, don't sell it. But I ended up selling it, or selling, a pair. It was a pair of 13s for the Jordan fans out there. And, I got like $200. I went on Craigslist, and I started lowballing people that had Jordans for sale. So kind of just started, and before you knew it, 2 turned into 4, and then 4 into 5, and then you're trading. And then I would trade like Jordan, like I would trade like a really good pair of Jordans, like retros, for Jordans and like a jersey. Yeah. So then I would get the Jordans, I would sell the jersey, get cash, and it was just an ongoing thing. Sneakerhead. Yeah. And before you knew it, I mean, about a year and a half later, I had like 24 pairs, and then I ended up selling most of them. I think I still have like 8. Yeah. They don't fit me anymore. I'm size bigger now, but I bought my first car as a freshman in high school.
Wow.
So I was the only freshman. I didn't have a license. I mean, I have a license now, but at the time I didn't. So, but it was pretty cool being the only freshman driving a Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. And then I saw that you were at so there's 2 things that stuck out for me in the last couple of months, was that you were able to go to the Cavaliers game.
That's right.
That was pretty cool. And obviously, from working your butt off, how was that?
Yeah, so I mean that was a huge fulfilling moment in my life.
Yeah.
It's something so simple that we can all do, but it's just like it was just amazing. So backstory, so I've been a LeBron James fan since he hit a game-winning shot against the Magic in like 2009.
Is that like the bank shot?
Yeah. Okay. On the Dwight Howard team.
Yeah.
And that was the first NBA game I watched. I was at Red Robin. It's crazy. I have a great memory.
Yeah.
And so I followed him all along, like when he went to Miami. And I remember when I was like 12, 13, like we moved into the trailer park. And while my dad's like fixing the trailer home up, the mobile home, we have like a small TV, and we're helping him, clean up and build the kitchen and stuff. And just watching like the finals, and he's gone to the finals for like the past 8 years. So it was just like, you know, as a 13-year-old, I dreamt of doing that. So I had the chance, and we had great seats. And, I mean, we sat next to Donovan Mitchell, me and my buddy Austin.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. Bunch of celebs everywhere. It's pretty sweet.
So I think the other thing, too, and it's for inspiring everybody else, I mean, it's not just about the cars and everything else, but you're also able to help your brother, right?
Yeah.
So he's 19, and he's doing wholesale deals now.
Yeah, so, he moved in with me when he was fresh 18.
Yeah.
And he's been under my wing, and he got his first self-generated deal. He gets deals for our company, but his own deal, I didn't help him. I taught him the ropes, but he did everything. I can't take credit for that. I made $16,000.
Yeah,
he's 19, and so it's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the first 5 steps? I mean, we talked about the mentoring and educating yourself and everything else, but if you were, you know, starting brand new today, what were like the first, maybe not 5, but first 3 or 4 steps you would take today?
Don't overcomplicate it. That would be the first thing. What I always think of real estate as is it's not a sprint. You know, it's a marathon. So any progress that you make day by day is going to add up. You know, so one step at a time. And I'm sure you can agree with this. One step, and before you know it, you're at a very
compound
high level.
effect.
Yeah, compound effect. Don't overcomplicate it. No, it's the long run. I mean, I started at 18. I wish I would have started like at 12. But then I have people telling me like, oh, I wish I started at 21.
Yeah.
So, but you know, we can always wish that we could have started earlier. But I've kept. I haven't burnt myself out.
Yeah.
I've been very, progress.
Systematic.
Very, progress.
Yeah.
So that'd be the first thing. Number 2 is, like I said earlier, follow someone that you can, resonate, vibe with. Someone that you trust. Even if it's not on a personal level, but you like what they're putting out there, like the show.
Yeah.
And number 3. Patience. I would say patience.
Yeah.
It's not going to come when you want it. It's not going to come how you want it, but it will come.
Right.
Just like that first deal. I didn't think it was going to come like that. God's like, oh, I'm going to take this $5,000 deal away from you, but here's $13,000.
Yeah.
So it ain't. I didn't expect it to come like that, but looking back, it's something that just be patient in the process.
That's great advice. I think Andrew LeBaron, if you're listening, patience. That's his big. He says that's what he wants to work on the most.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. As an entrepreneur, you're like go, but marathon. So
right, now you got to remind yourself. So what are you most passionate about?
Growth.
Yeah. So talk about that.
Just how much. So I ask myself, like, how much can I squeeze out of myself until the day that I die? Right.
Yeah.
So, how much am I capable of, and how much is in me? I think I heard Grant Cardone say, someone said like, you're squeezing out all the juice. He's like, I don't want any juice left. Like when I'm in my deathbed, I don't want any juice. I don't want no energy left. So it's something.
Yeah, well, that guy's a machine. I mean, he's
tweeting. I think he liked the picture you posted today.
Well, it's a picture of you, so yeah, it was
sweet. Sweet.
Yeah, but that was awesome. It felt like a touch, definitely from a celebrity. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so you're talking about growth. I saw that you were at a Mark Evans event.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about how do you invest in your growth, because that's obviously a very important characteristic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, there's always something you can learn from anybody. So I go to this year probably go to like 8 to 10 mastermind events.
Wow.
Throughout the country. Last year was a great growth year. It's really I'm not afraid to invest in myself. And it always comes back. It
of course.
Does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to Mark Evans. I'm in other select groups and just constantly just networking and building relationships and, just taking in, information from people that have been in the business for 20 plus years. Because for me, mentors, they shorten the learning curve. So for me, if I can, get 20 years of experience and shrink it down to a year for me, like that's game changer. So.
Okay. Do you know how much, and this might be too personal of a question, do you know how much you invest in your personal growth?
Last year, I'm done with my books now, so I can tell you that. Including travel, well over $40,000 last year. This year, I have some big goals. I want to join this mastermind called Genius X.
Mm-hmm.
It's Dean Graciosi's group.
I want to join that same group.
Yeah, so it's $100K a year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's on my checklist, right? So
yeah. So by the end of the year, I want to join that. So
very cool. Very cool.
So just constantly growing and just getting to these high level groups, just building myself up that way.
Yeah. Okay. And I think they say the rule of thumb should be about 10%. 10% for tithing, 10% in your personal development.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I saw that you've got Wholesaling Real Estate 101. What's that about?
On the YouTube?
Yeah.
So I was getting the same questions over and over again, and I was posting progress, but I had this message from this guy, and he said, and if he's watching this, thank you so much. He said, it's cool that you share content and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or your progress, but you're not showing us how to do it. We're struggling here. Help us.
Yeah.
So that really touched me because I've been in that position where I've reached out to bigger guys and they just gave me the backhand. Yeah. And
no, I've been dealing with that too.
Yeah. So, and I understand they're busy now. In that position, I understand. So
Yeah.
I was getting the same questions over and over again. So I decided to make a YouTube channel, just my name, Alex Saenz, and just giving out free content. But over I haven't posted like 3, maybe 4 weeks.
Right.
I just had to prioritize some things in my business and life, and then
Mm-hmm.
been traveling to these events. So
Yeah.
But I definitely want to get that going and just start giving hope and solid content out there.
Okay. And then we were talking about beforehand that after this is done, we're actually going to put this whole thing on there too. So
I'll be
too.
posting it. Yeah,
Yep.
YouTube channel.
So if you guys started late, you guys can still catch it later on YouTube. Okay. And then I checked out your space. You, Carlos, Sal, and you guys got that pool table, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, did you win?
That's not really important. Everyone tried really hard, and that's what matters.
Yeah, it's the effort
Right?
that counts. Yeah.
Okay.
Progress.
So what does your organization look like today?
Okay, so I'm CEO, so I handle marketing and dispositions.
Mm-hmm.
I have COO / main acquisitions manager.
Yeah.
His name's Andy Garcia. I've known him since 6 years old, since I was 6.
Wow.
We have very similar stories, and I love him to death. So he's my main acquisitions, and then I have 2 acquisitions under him.
Okay.
So total of 3, and I have the rest are agents.
Okay.
15 agents.
15.
15, yeah.
Wow.
And then
you're in the same school of philosophy like Raphael, Carlos, and Sal, where you guys are making offers over phone?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, we don't go on appointments.
Just drives me just crazy.
Yeah, we after comping thousands and thousands of properties, like
Mhm.
we know, we have our thing down to a science. So
Okay, so you got 3 acquisition guys and 15 cold callers?
cold callers, yeah. That's
Okay.
right.
How about dispositions?
I still handle that.
So you still handle this?
But it's very systematized all through Podeo. So, get a property, gets pushed out to our disposition app, and it's just blast it, and then our offers come in.
Okay.
So, it's, we have 14 active deals right now, and I think all are sold in the last 10 days. So
Cool. Very cool.
So yeah.
Okay. And what states are you in?
So I'm 80. I would say 70% Phoenix, 10% Tucson, 10% Vegas, and 10% San Francisco. So I have 2 agents in San Francisco, 2 agents Vegas, 2 agents in Tucson, the rest in Phoenix.
Okay.
But I do majority of my business in Phoenix.
Why are they in San Francisco if you guys aren't going to the houses?
So I have someone on the ground there.
Yeah.
But honestly, we still lock up deals over the phone there. Yeah. We got one in Oakland, and that was just all over the phone.
Okay.
We had the seller send us pictures. So.
And so are the spreads? I think you were saying in one of our meetings, hey, you guys are ridiculous for being in Phoenix. The numbers are way better in San Francisco or California.
Yeah, it's the same. I wouldn't say there's not a huge. There's no desperate sellers there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you that. But there are reasonable sellers
Mm-hmm.
in every market, and for the same, maybe a little bit more cost per lead, cost per deal. The spreads out there are insane. We got one in Oakland for $240 worth $450, and we're gonna rehab that because I mean the days on market in that specific area are quick.
24 hours.
So, so it's insane. You have 10+ offers in the first day.
Yeah, as soon as the sign goes on the ground.
Yeah, it makes sense for me, and plus none of my capital is held there because I have partnerships that fund everything. So
very cool.
Just leveraged the right way.
And then what are your top lead sources?
Cold calling. That's all I do. That's all I've been doing for the last 2 years.
Cold calling. Okay, so then it's got to be a specific list or type of people that you call.
Every list that you can think of. I mean, when you have a handful of agents, I mean, you're targeting
callers.
Your absentees, which actually is probably one of my least favorite. But tax default's a huge one in any market. Empty nesters is good. I like owner occupant 20+ years. Because no one. So here's a nugget. So last year we did 52 deals, and half of them were owner occupant, which is pretty. It's odd to hear that because most wholesalers are doing absentee, tired landlords, things like that. But we did a bunch of owner occupant deals, and what we did there, our huge pitch was 30 days rent free after we close, and that hooks sellers. Yeah, because they get their money and then they have time to look for a place. So and then you could do a holdback, $5,000 holdback, but for most of the deals we didn't do a holdback. But since they are owners, not tenants, they actually take care of their property, so they respect that. So
well, I was never worried about them damaging. I was worried about making sure they left.
Yeah. Well, the eviction laws here aren't that bad. In San Francisco, they are tough.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. Yeah. Okay, so now that we talked about the list, now I want to skip trace that list. What do I do?
I use Need to Skip.
Okay.
I've tried. I mean, it's the best bang for the buck. I mean, I've tried TLO, anything that you can think of. But I mean, when I first started batching skip tracing, I was paying 65 cents a record. And then with Need to Skip, I mean, they crush that. So I use that.
How are they getting better data? Do you know?
No clue. I mean, my guess is credit bureau data.
Yeah.
Credit bureau data. So just very updated information, and I mean, we get all our deals from there.
Okay.
Just quality data, and then plus we contact. So I mean, I understand you can go the cheaper route. So like Data Finder, which is like 4 cents a lead with one number. But I never go cheap. I mean, you're spending all this money on marketing, your phone systems, your acquisitions, you're paying commissions. Why go cheap with data? You want to increase your chances of reaching that prospect. So I don't go cheap with data. Go quality.
Oh no, that's a very good point. Yeah. So you got any interesting war stories?
War stories.
Yeah. Anything that's like, man, any crazy stories, stuff that you've wholesaled or flipped?
Yeah. So we went on this appointment in Buckeye for a piece of land. So it was a piece of land here in Phoenix, and the seller lived in Buckeye. And my acquisitions manager, he went on the appointment, and it's funny. So he showed up, and the contract price was for like $3,000, and there was like $6,000 in back taxes. So he got to the house, and the seller, he's getting mad and yelling at my acquisitions guy, Andy, because he apparently we said that we were going to pay the taxes. So it turns crazy, right? So the guy's yelling at him. Andy's feeling uncomfortable. Andy's a big dude. He's 6'5", 300 pounds. And and he said in the back, and he recorded a video, which is, I know it's crazy. So he recorded a video in the back. The wife is going crazy, looking for something in the drawers, like scavenging. I don't know if it was a knife or a gun or something.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. For me, so that's probably the craziest story that's happened in ours. But we don't get a lot of crazy stories because remember, we do a lot of things over the phone. So we kind of push those crazy stories to the side. I mean, for me, I showed up to a house in South Phoenix, and there was 15 druggies in the house when I walked in, and I really felt like my life was in danger. So that, I mean, imagine just, you open the door and then you walk in and then you just sleeping, and I don't know what they were doing. Never seen stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, nothing too crazy.
Okay. What would you say are some of the critical components to your success?
Simple, effective systems.
Okay.
Keeping it very simple, very lean, and just focusing on business success or personal.
Well, I would say
business.
I would say what's leading to your business success. Yeah.
Okay. Just simple and effective. We can get this loophole of constantly finding the next thing. Okay, what better marketing is there? What better list? This, and this, and this and that. But for me, it's just really just keeping my head down and just focusing on what's working, and just making sure that I maximize in that specific thing.
So staying focused on what's making money.
Staying focused. Yeah, cold calling.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Because if you're not cold calling right now in this market, I don't know what to tell you. You're missing out.
Yeah. So then, what's your biggest struggle right now?
It's a good question. Not letting go. And I'll tell you why. So I haven't let go of like dispositions in marketing, and I mean that's one hire away from me stepping out of the whole business.
Yeah.
But I'm so young that I don't know what I'll do. Like, so that's kind of, I've been back and forth on that. I still want to stay involved in the business, but I know there's another path for me,
right,
which is developments. So just focusing my energy on that. So just kind of delegating.
What's developments?
So I want to get into small scale developments.
Like building communities, or?
Eventually, yeah. I mean, start, in the lower end, entitlements, condo conversions, things like that.
Okay. And what would you say is your superpower?
I was thinking about this earlier, and all right, I'm going to mix two.
Okay.
And it's going to be, I don't even know how to say it, a very good visionary leader.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It does make sense.
So I have a great amount of faith. Everything that I do, I just know I can accomplish it. There's never second guess in my mind at all. And that's just over the years of, small wins, and you start building that muscle in your mind of just reassuring your mind that you're winning. So just constant wins.
Well, it's supreme confidence, right?
Yeah.
Like
so now
you're just gonna figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
right.
Sometimes I don't know how I'm going to get to a specific goal that I have, but I know I'm going to get there.
Right.
And I give this example all the time. It's like if you're driving from like LA to New York, I don't know the exact way there. Like I don't know, okay, 100 miles from now I'm going to take a left, or 300 miles I'm going to take a right. Like I don't know that, but there is Google Maps, and God is my Google Maps. So I know I'm going to get to that destination. So that when I set a goal, I just know that. I just know I'll get there. And then the visionary part, I just have a huge, eager to learn and just grow, and just build something just amazing in this life.
Awesome. Gabrielle wants to know, what would you guys do if the market takes a turn?
So I wholesale 99%. I have 2 rehabs, and that's just my dad's a contractor, so.
That helps.
Helping that, get him up and going and have him crush it. But for me, we buy wholesale.
Yeah.
So plus very little risk. So if a house is worth 200, we get a 30% market correction. House is worth 140, but it's not worth 100, or it's not 30% on wholesale price. It's 30% of retail, right? So as a wholesaler, you're pretty safe.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you do if the market shifted, though?
Start seller finance, like
seller
crazy.
Finance?
Yeah, creative structuring. Wholesale. I've asked around, and wholesaling does work. You just obviously base your numbers on different comps.
Right.
Yeah.
So this actually came up in a different panel I was speaking on last week, and what they don't realize, like, all you just do is you adjust what you buy at. People weren't paying 70% during the recession.
Yeah.
They were paying like 50, right? So you just change your margins so that you can take into account the risk of a market continuing to go down and holding costs. At the end of the day, you need to make a certain amount. You make that amount.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. 100% agree.
So, but it's a good question. All right, let's see what else is there. What lesson would you want to teach today's young real estate entrepreneurs?
What lesson? Start now. Start now. Like I said, marathon, not sprint. So, even if you make a little bit of progress, each and every single day. By the time you're 40 and you're young,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be way far ahead. So just start
Get in there.
now. If you're searching for that first deal, it's not going to come how you want it or when you want it. But if you stay consistent in your marketing, your efforts, it's going to come.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And what's the greatest lesson you've learned?
The greatest lesson I've learned is positive influence. Just hanging around with the winners.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to give them a shout out, Sal and Carlos. I mean, we share an office. I mean, I met them going on to my second year in business,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't be this far ahead without them at all.
Right.
Oops, sorry. Just having them, and having them next door, and just having amazing influence from them and from others. Rafael Vargas, shout out.
Right.
And just very positive influence in my life. Like I hang out with winners, and Eagles fly with the Eagles, and it's really what I do. So that's one thing that I would say.
Yeah, and I think it's the classic Jim Rohn saying, right? If you show me the 5 people you hang out with, I'll tell you how much you make.
Yeah, and it's true.
It's very true.
Your income, everything, growth and personal development, it all correlates with who you hang out with.
Right.
Yeah.
What is your favorite, best, or most interesting failure?
Wow. Most, best, or interesting failure. I wouldn't say there's just one that just stands out, but it's just been it never came. There was no instant wins.
Mm-hmm.
There was just base hits. So for me, it was just the whole entire journey. I mean, on the personal side, it was definitely taking a different turn in life, like parents divorcing, and then feeling very alone, and like I had no one there, and then finding comfort in God and what He had planned for me. Because if I can go on for hours on my story, but if certain things didn't happen in my life, I wouldn't be on this path.
Right.
So literally split-second decisions, like enlisting for the Navy. I was ready to go, and Jalen actually convinced me not to go.
Yeah.
And I mean, even then, like it took me an extra 5 months to get a deal, but that moment, I think I would still be in there right now. And God bless our troops, of course, but
right.
Just had a different path.
Peter Nguyen has a question about what are the ways that you believe you could add value to someone's business. So let's say we're going back to that mentoring question earlier in our conversation.
On a consulting, on a marketing standpoint?
I'm brand new. I want to work with Alex. In order to work with Alex, I got to add value to Alex's life, right, or business.
Yeah.
How do I do that as a newbie?
Add value to me?
Yeah.
Just share my content. just get more. Really.
Yeah.
Because you're not the only one in need. There's thousands of people out there that are in need. So if I can get that extra share, that might reach that person that maybe is thinking about, doing something bad to themselves. That means a lot to me.
All right.
So
Okay. What book have you given more than any other book?
Secrets of a Millionaire Mind.
Yeah.
I have copies just ready to go.
It's an amazing book. T. Harv Eker, that's an awesome book.
Yeah, it's I love the programming aspect in that book has really changed my life, because I started thinking like, okay, why do I make money and don't keep it? Okay, why does this happen? Why does that happen? And then you start realizing like, this is what I was taught, money is the root of all evil. No, it's not. So just switching the programming up.
Yeah.
And just having a foundation to build on, for true wealth.
Yeah, for sure. And what keeps you up at night?
Good question. Constant growth, like wanting, like, okay, what's next? Just thinking about the next thing to do. And like I said, it's blessing and a curse, because sometimes it derails you from your focus. But for the most part, that's really what keeps me up. Like, okay, what can I do, to add value to my team, to people around me, and just constantly thinking about the next thing to do, which could be a good and bad thing.
Right. Yeah. One of the guys are asking about virtual wholesaling, so I'll go back to my question. I think it's a John Martinez thing, right? It's the making offers remotely.
Yeah.
So why limit yourself to just these handful of states then, if you want to be able to, if you're doing virtual wholesaling more or less?
There's so many different factors when it comes to that. Like you need someone reliable in case you need an appointment. You know, you need solid buyers. You need, you know, solid title company. So for me, it's just I virtual wholesale in places where I know if I have a problem, you know, at 3 o'clock, someone can be there by 5. So,
Yeah.
So that's why it's a question. Why haven't I expanded throughout? Yeah, that's the reason why. Plus, I like to stay focused in areas that I know. Yeah.
Okay. And Brian Sammons wants to know, as a person who's already successful, what does future success look like?
Constant growth. So this is like what happened with me. So I got into real estate thinking about myself only, because I felt like I had no one. I had no one. No one helped. Like no one really supported me. Like, you know, it's the constant story of no one believed in me. You know, everyone said I was dumb. Like, so that really happened to me. But the first year's like, I'm gonna do real estate, but I didn't get in it for the money. I got in it for freedom. My goal my first year was to make $60,000 and play video games all day. I made $120 the first year, and I played video games all day. But I stayed to the purpose. But it was all about myself. You know, I was chilling at home at my apartment, just by myself, and I started realizing, like, dang, my mom's still working, my dad's still working, my best friends are, you know, from high school, they're working. So started feeling very selfish, and then it grew to, okay, I need to help those around me and my family. Yeah. So the next year was about family, and our business. I mean, my business just skyrocketed. Because it wasn't just about me, it became about family. So I mean, we went from 120 in revenue to 615.
It's pretty good jump.
Yeah, I mean, from 19 to 20 years old. So, but the reason for that is because it wasn't about me; it was about others. Now it was about my family and my immediate, you know, circle. And now this year, it's not just about my family or just me; it's about others and helping others. You know, helping them up that next step. So that's really it. So I mean, success for me now is helping others.
Is raising your impact.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Being a very positive and powerful influence, and just giving, you know, people hope, because I think we all need it. Even I mean, I have very high standards of success for myself, but you know, I still need hope. So I look up to bigger guys, and just a constant, you know, looking up.
Constant reaching. That's incredible. Max wants to know, what's the one thing you would recommend to someone who's currently scaling their business? So they've had a little bit of success. They're trying to take it to the next level.
Invest in marketing, but the right marketing. I would suggest cold calling with quality data, and then just start reinvesting 15% of deals that you get. And then you grow that marketing budget. If you're a one-man team, get 50K in deals saved up, and make that first hire, which I think it should, I always think it should be a sales guy.
Right.
So acquisitions, to get more offers, because you can only make so offers during the day, right? So if you get that acquisitions manager to do that, with you or for you, that'll really just expand your deal flow.
So let's talk about the acquisitions guy. What do you pay that guy?
So I paid my first guy, Andy, I paid him $2,000 a month and 5% off on deals. And he quit his job, and he worked for $2,000. And then now it's strictly commission, but there is a draw. But we're cranking deals out that the draw is rarely there,
So what's the commission?
10% gross.
10% of the gross? Okay, that's awesome. Gabriel wants to know, what does your daily routine look like?
So I switched up my daily routine. So the last, say, month and a half, I've been waking up at 4:30, and I've been keeping it consistent. And so I wake up, I have a personal trainer at 5, just really trying to become elite in all areas of my life. Yeah. So I wake up at 4:30, I go to the gym at 5, get back like 6:30, sometimes 7. My buddy Elijah, he's Elijah Rubin, so he works out with me in the morning. So we'll mastermind after.
I still need to connect with him.
Yeah, we'll mastermind after the session, and then I get home and drink my shake and get ready for the office.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much office day, and head home maybe 7, 8, and just start it all over again.
We gotta reach out to Hal Elrod and do a miracle morning for wholesalers.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Right. Yeah. Okay. What else is there? James Kwan wants to know, what's your offer to deal ratio?
We are converting 1 in 50 leads, 1 in 50 qualified leads. You said offer to deal ratio?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, 1 in 50 we're converting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then let's see. There were some questions earlier. Let me see if I can pull them up. So do you have like X number of deals? Or so this is Vic's asking your statistics. How many calls does it take to get a lead? How many leads does it take to get a deal? And I think we already talked about the leads of the deal. So how many calls to get a lead?
So it takes, I would say 200 to 300 dials to get one lead.
Wow.
One qualified lead. Dials.
Yeah.
Now that's dials, not contacts. You're
Mhm.
probably reaching, if 10% of those.
Mhm.
So, 20 to 30 qualified. And plus, for me, since I'm not a realtor or broker,
Yeah.
I know, hats off to you. But we don't qualify retail leads. Like, that's something that we don't work with.
Yeah. Okay. And Daniel Prito wants to know how many offers are your acquisition people making a day?
They're making 100 calls a day, and that's a mix of new leads, like
Mhm.
new untouched leads, new or just make offers that we're still trying to get a hold of them, and then follow-up leads.
So you talk to them. Do you make an offer no matter what?
Yeah.
So basically every conversation you have, you're making an offer.
Yeah. So this is our sales process. So we have 15 agents, qualified leads. They're constantly asking, if you're interested in a cash offer, interested in selling your home, grab the information. They submit it into a web form link with Podio,
Mm-hmm.
and then it gets tagged need comps. So then run our numbers, and so then the acquisitions, all they have to do is they go in there, and they have say 50 make offers for today.
Mm-hmm.
So that initial phone call is always, hey, my name is Alex, and one of my agents actually reached out to you yesterday, a few days ago, and it's now a good time. And then they proceed with the offer. And what we do, so on the cold call leads, which is a huge tip here because it took us a long time. Initially, we were making offers, firm offers. So we would say we can do $105,500 cash,
Mm-hmm.
and then we never heard back from them. So I call that closing the door.
Yeah.
Like you make the offer and you close it and you go hide.
Mm-hmm.
So now we make verbal offer ranges.
Yeah.
So instead of 105, we'll say 95 to 105 or 110 or 100 to 110.
Mm-hmm.
And I call that keeping the door open for negotiation.
Right.
So we do offer ranges, and that works extremely well with cold call leads because remember, they're not calling you to sell, you're calling them. So
Mhm.
you have to convince, not really convince, but pitch on your value.
Right.
So after every new lead we make an offer, and then they go into different tiers. Contacted, follow up, contacted, accepted offer, send contract, and it's happened a lot. On the first call, we'll get off the phone with the contract.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Let's see. Brian Saenz wants to know how many speeding tickets you got in the last month.
So I got the two cars, the R8 and then the X6, the BMW. And it's funny, I got the ticket in the BMW, not the R8. But I only got one ticket, and I think it's my second. I think I got one like 3 years ago, so I think that's knocked off.
Yeah.
So just one.
Okay. Well, so being the broker, I tell my salespeople, if you can't talk yourselves out of a ticket, you might not be in sales.
Yeah, but when you're going, way over the speed limit, I'm not gonna say it but yeah, it's.
Well, I got off with a warning cutting off an unmarked cop car going 105.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was close to that. It's I was going to somewhere peaceful too. I was going to Sedona. I go out there, meditate,
Trying to relax.
Yeah, trying to relax, and I got the ticket going there. So, but honestly, it didn't ruin my day.
Yeah.
I never like the little stuff like that. Just, like for me, like I never sweat the small things because so during high school, right? Like you're nervous and you're anticipating the test the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, like one time I was like studying for a test all day, and then I woke up late for that class, and my day was over. I missed the test. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm freaking out. But fast forward, 5 years later, like, who gives a crap? Like,
right.
It's in the past, so like, just don't sweat.
Just move on.
Yeah, because a year from now, you're not gonna be thinking about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, worry about things you can't control, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So Rhett wants to know, a lot of people tell you not to make an offer first, let them bring up a price first. Where do you stand on that concept?
Great question. So if the So most of our cold callers, they are good at getting that number out of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if we can pay cash, you know, what's the bottom line price that, you know, you would sell the property for? And I would say, I mean, it's not that great. It's like 50% of sellers will tell you,
Mm-hmm.
but most of them are just kind of waiting for that number. Plus, sometimes, I mean, I understand that, you know, there's a saying out there that, you know, 90% of sellers know what they want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's true. Yeah, I mean, especially when you're calling sellers that have owned a property for 20 plus years and they have no idea. So we, most of our offers are, you know, we say the number first.
Interesting.
So,
and Sanad wants to know, where do you get your lists?
Okay, I get my list from ListSource, Atom Data, and Rebo Gateway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So the other question I was asking you was, what pisses you off?
When someone's too comfortable. That's a good question. I was thinking about, like, what pisses me off? Because I don't sweat the small things. You ask anybody around me, I'm the chillest, but I'm just very effective in what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at maximizing my time.
Yeah.
But yeah, when someone's too comfortable, and I mean, even in my own family, like, just when there's no vision,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's no urge or need to really build themselves, not just for them, but for people around them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are selfish, and I've been one of them. Like, I'm telling you, that first year, it was just all about myself.
Yeah.
Now it's like it's completely different.
So is it a matter of them living below their potential?
Not living a purposeful life.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it pisses me off.
Yeah.
It really grinds my gears.
So you're like your little brother sitting there playing the Xbox. You just slap the controller out of his hand?
No, not necessarily. I mean, there has to be a balance, of course.
Yeah.
But when you get into this funk of just, you know, you get up, go to work, go to sleep, and you just do the same thing over and over and over again without impacting anyone's life.
You're stuck in the rat race.
Yeah, you're stuck in that. And it's like, it's a bubble that, I mean, sadly, a lot of people are stuck in.
Yeah.
And I think the easiest way to get out of that is just make it about others instead of yourself.
Right.
You know, who should I do it for?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just me. And obviously, you will benefit personally off that, but that's been something huge for me, that it's not just about me.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if someone wants to get a hold of you, what is the best way for them to do that?
So if you have a real estate question, I would say YouTube, because I'm going to be prioritizing most of my time on there.
Yeah.
And then Instagram. Instagram's a good one. And then just Alex Saenz. Yeah.
Simple enough. Saenz.
Yeah. I paid for that name, so I wanted to make it
really?
simple. I did, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was worth it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, again, guys, if you like this show, please share this episode right now. And please join me again next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. We got Brandon Tracy. And then don't forget, we do have the event tomorrow night. I don't know. Can you come tomorrow night? 4:30
Yeah,
Scottsdale?
I can make it. Yeah.
So Alex will be there. And then don't forget to check out our website, realestatedisruptors.com, to find out more about our upcoming events. So thank you, guys, and thank you. That was awesome.
Awesome.